also from Iraqi defectors that they're starving, that they're lice-infected, that conditions for the soldiers, particularly the ones in Kuwait along the front, are deteriorating, that there's a lot of illness?
We haven't seen any defectors. We haven't seen any defectors, and these all kind of, propaganda warfare, and this is normal in such a situation. We don't have any defectors.
What can you tell us about these 24 or so airplanes that have flown to Iran? Were they fleeing a fight with American aircraft? Were they defecting? Were they seeking safe haven? Why did they go to Iran?
The report that you have been hearing, we have heard also report that 6 helicopters defected to Saudi Arabia and 50 tanks defected, etc. So these reports are false reports. It's the news media are full, full of these false reports. So I think we better stick to the facts.
Well, tell us what the facts are about those planes.
The facts are a number of these planes land in Iran, emergency landing, and Iran is very, very close to the front. So, with these planes, with this, speed of sound, and double the speed of sound, the borders are too close.
Tell us about the oil spill. Does your government have any interest at all in joining an effort to try and stop the spread of this oil slick? Is there any thinking at all that you would in some way help prevent slick from further?
Well, help into stopping the damage, etc., etc. You see, who started it? I think we all heard 2 days before the news of the slick, we all heard in the briefings that the coalition forces hit 2 tankers in the northern part of the Gulf. So this is very clear. It is out of the American forces, made. So it's their responsibility of what's happening. Why should we help?
To prevent the environmental disaster that's going on.
Well, people are getting killed in Iraq with 2,000 sorties a day. You are worried about, Leslie, they are worried about ecology, and they are not worried about the people getting killed. And I think the problem in the region today is much more and much worse than this oil slick. We said if the war is going to start, disasters in the region will take place, and this is one of them. So there are still more disasters to come.
Such as?
Well, as I said, the war is still in the beginning, so when there is war, there are disasters.
How would you sum up the progress of the war, in your opinion? How's it going?
Well, we said it's going to be costly. We said it's going to be a long war. We said it's going to be disastrous for the region. We said it's going to be not going to be a picnic, and all what we have said is happening. So I don't think the coming day is going to be different.
If Saddam Hussein is removed, if he is killed somehow, what would happen to your country?
This is a hypothetical question.
I know that, but there are reports about such things. Would your country be thrown into chaos?
It's a hypothetical question, and I don't find myself really comfortable to answer it. It's a hypothetical question.
Let me ask you one final.
Please.
Is it conceivable to you that he would go to his bunker, perpetuate war?
Even if your country were being totally destroyed, would he just go on with this no matter what?
The problem in the whole situation is, you see, they are the coalition, the American administration, you see, they are misjudging the Iraqi people, they are misjudging the Iraqi leadership. We have said it all along. Iraq, it's not the country that you can threat. It's not the country that you can corner. It's not the country that you can blackmail. This is, I think now, I hope now they realize that what they have started was wrong. And I hope they have the courage to realize that that's wrong, so they change attitude toward Iraq and talk to Iraq and sit to the negotiating table. Believe me, they will find much easier to deal with Iraq than this, what they are doing now.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, we have run out of time. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lindy.
Thank you. The Iraq
were the Sumerians, and they changed the world. They were among the first to survive not just as hunters and gatherers, but as farmers. They developed the first systems of irrigation. This is an old map of irrigation ditches. They were the first to use wheeled vehicles to help get crops to market. And to keep track of trading, they invented writing. Early writing was symbolic. This might denote the trade of 2 oxen. But later symbols stood for sounds and became the basis of the first alphabet. Writing allowed the Sumerians to communicate. This is a letter in its own crude envelope. And it allowed education. Much of what students now learn in school started in that part of the ancient world that is now Iraq. Algebra, geometry, science. The ancient Sumerians practiced medicine. This is an old prescription tablet. They were among the first to study the stars, which helped them draw true maps and predict the weather. And Mesopotamia was where people first started to live together in cities. First created the idea of a king. The Babylonian king Hammurabi found one of the earliest sets of laws, defining crimes, specifying punishments. And from this one corner of the world come many of the oldest stories known. The Garden of Eden was said to be somewhere in Mesopotamia. The city of Ur is the birthplace of Abraham. Near the city of Nineveh, the burial place of Jonah. And the Iraqi government has been trying to reconstruct the famous Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which were one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The war has stopped work there and at other ancient sites, many of which are near key Iraqi military bases or weapons facilities. The U.S. military has said its pilots will try to spare these sites, but archaeologists are afraid that the priceless treasures of thousands of years could be destroyed in seconds. The ancient people of Mesopotamia knew all about war. Fighting was a part of their lives, just as it is once again.
As you know, Germany a few days ago made another contribution so that widens the map even further.
Are people contributing anything besides money and troops?
Yes, there are countries, for example, that are providing medical supplies, and that puts South Korea on the map, and the Philippines, and Singapore. And you could add the Soviet Union, which very significantly has played a major political role. And as you can see, like those ripples in the pond, and as you mentioned at the top of the show, the global village, matters keep expanding.
And some countries, just by their strategic position, have been affected as well.
Well, there's obviously the risk. When you take a position in a matter like this, you are exposed to the actions of the combatants, and that's true for both sides. At the moment, Western countries particularly very concerned about terrorism. There has been terrorism in various countries, in Greece, in Turkey, and even as far afield as the Philippines. So that, too, is a factor.
And what's going on in the Arab and Muslim worlds? There have been ripples there as well.
Yes, in fact, this conflict not only has the potential to change the political geography of the world, but it could recast the cultural geography of the Arab and Muslim world. On this map, in a very general way, the red you see here, this dark color, is the Arab world, the Muslim world beyond the Arab world, including also Africans and non-Arabs in the Muslim world, all the way to Indonesia. This is the area that is most directly involved. Here we have countries inside the alliance and outside. For example, we have next to each other Senegal, a member of the alliance, Mauritania opposed to it, Morocco, which has sent troops, Algeria, which is opposed, Tunisia opposed, Egypt supporting. So you have all these conflicts inside the alliance. Beyond, well, there have been demonstrations in support of Saddam, in fact, blood drives and registrations to support Saddam in Pakistan, and even as far afield as Malaysia and Indonesia.
What about the countries that have not aligned themselves yet, some big countries?
It's possible that India, for example, has allowed us to land land airplanes on the way without actually getting involved. Turkey, right on the border, has gotten involved simply by virtue of its location. There is no telling what countries may get to be involved. It may be much harder to stop this war, Miriam, than it was to start it.
It sure sounds like it, and it's becoming more and more clear that it's becoming difficult to stand on the fence here.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Harm, for